Hello, future participants of this discussion or lecture, whichever format you will choose. This lecture will cover the topic of risk, stress, incidents, and recovery within IT environments and the psychology that lies behind it, so you can better understand the phenomenon and manage it. I'm Monika Kuzminskaite. I'm a psychologist. Psychology is my second education and career path that I have taken quite a few years ago, next to a long-standing career in telecommunications and IT. I do feel that these two fields cross over quite often, and I'm more than happy to share my insights as to how each of these disciplines can enhance one another. I do have my private counseling practice. I also give lectures on various subjects. I do have active social media accounts, both in Lithuanian and English. In Lithuanian, please search for Šaukštas proto, in English, Spoonful of Reason. There I share my reflections on the current studies, different behavioral experiments. I share recommendations for the books, snippets of my personal diary, and gratitude practice to give as an example of what I do recommend in my sessions. So this recording is a short introduction as to what would be covered in a full-scale lecture. It is mostly focused on incidents. Of course, we do start from the beginning, defining what incident is. And the regular dictionary would say that incident is an instant of something happening, which is not too helpful if we are talking about IT or security environments. If we look at IT standards, then we have a bit more focused description. It says that incident is an unexpected event that disrupts business operational processes or reduces the quality of a service, and usually in IT mind they are related to a service downtime. If we look at security standards, then it focuses on the different criteria, which are the breach of confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information or information system. That's not necessarily IT, but usually is in our environment, and it constitutes a violation or imminent threat of violation of security policies, procedures for acceptable use. So a little bit different angle if we look from the security point of view, but still we can understand and agree that it is a disruption that we did not want to have. In brief, if we aim to look at both IT and security perspectives, then we probably can agree that incident is an unexpected disruption, because changes can be expected disruption, that requires immediate attention and fixing, because otherwise our business will not continue. To discuss the psychology that lies behind incident management, related risks, recovery actions, and so forth, we do need to cover several areas. Some of them are related to the personal psychology, and some of them are related to interpersonal psychology. The areas that I've chosen to cover in this lecture are emotions, personality, body being personal parts, also relations, time, and cognitive control being the interpersonal areas. Each of these sections would be also covering further, deeper components that are related to this specific area. I do not follow any specific standard. This is my personal assessment of what is important, having worked in the field for quite a few years. For example, covering the body segment in this lecture, we will be talking about how sympathetic and parasympathetic systems work, which are triggered automatically, and they do have some sort of measures or methods to trigger or increase a favorable body response to whichever we need, either stress response or relaxation response. We would be covering things how breathing, cold, stretching, or being bored actually would help you to be more effective in the situation. In the personality part, we would be covering Big Five personality traits theory, also known as collection of neuroticism, extroversion, openness to experience, agreeableness, and conscientiousness, which are all fine and probably easy to Google, but what we would focus more specifically is how specific groups of traits might be helpful or not helpful in different situations or in different positions that are responsible for incident management, risk management, or other areas. We also will discuss the body response, normal body response and abnormal body response to different levels of stress and how we can deal with them. How all of that affects cognition and cognitive processes, how should we aim to deal with known and unknown situations, and how that should shape our risk and security-based decisions that need to include a specific level of trust. In the time section of this lecture, we will cover how we perceive a sense of urgency, because that also is a very subjective feeling. How does it affect fast thinking and slow thinking? You've heard about Daniel Kahneman, definitely, so we'll cover a bit of his theory. How do we increase our capabilities through repetition, automation, and reflexes, and how to use them for that? We'll cover how the learning and reproduction work. This is actually quite an old theory, but still very useful to know if we are talking about possibilities to increase our responses to specific situations. And we'll also talk about how fatigue and boredom are different and similar from the time perspective. If you find the lecture on this topic interesting or useful to you, if you do work in a high-stress environment, not necessarily in IT, stress happens anywhere, please reach out to me through any social media that you'll find this recording on. I'll be more than happy to adjust either lecture or discussion to your needs, to the required length, type of activities that you might want to have included in this lecture as well. Hopefully, when you do learn more about the psychology behind what seems to be uncontrollable, you'll be much better prepared to deal with it, and much more efficient, and you will build a better ground for further learning and improving your activities. Hope you like it. See you in the lecture.